Hey, good evening, traders. Hey, it's Monday, July 13th, 2026. I just want to go through what the happening in the markets here, and we're going to talk about some of the in the money covered call trades that we got going on and give you a little insight as to how some of these trades are going, especially the call cannon trades, as well as many of our dynamic poor man covered call trades. All right, that being said, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the markets. We haven't done this in quite a while, and thought it'd be a good day to jump in to this. So let's go in and see what's happening in the markets. Here's the E-mini futures. You can see we were down today just a bit, small down day today, about 0.7% overall on the session. Yeah, we're down maybe another 12 bucks after hours right now on the E-mini futures. But look at this trading range that we've been in. I mean, we've basically been in the same range since May 6th right now. So all of May, all of June, and so far part of July. So 2.5 months in this trading range. Market can't seem to break higher, but it is a bit of an ascending triangle as well. So we've got that going for us. So you've got the ascending triangle with the resistance up above. That's a good bullish sign. We're right near all-time highs in the market. You got the 8 above the 21, stock above the 21, bullish PSAR, RSI at 52. It's still fine. No reason to head for the exits here on this. If we take a look at the RSP as well, which is the equal weighted performed well today. It was only down 7 points, 0.03%, which means overall there's no big sell-off or anything happening here. If you were in stuff that's red today, it's only because you're in the wrong stuff today. It doesn't mean that stuff will be wrong tomorrow, but the market itself is doing just fine. You can see we're just continuing to march higher, and we're nearing all-time highs on the equal weighted as well. What was down? Well, it was all the tech stocks. So NASDAQ down 1.9% today. It's all the damage that's happening in tech stocks as a whole. And if we look at some quick sectors, 2.4% on technology down, 1% down on consumer discretionary. That's your Amazon and your Tesla. And then another slight down on communications, which is your Meta and Google. Meta keeping this thing elevated, Google fighting against it. So there's where some of your strong movements have been today. Also, biotech selling off after this big run. Great. I think we're getting another opportunity to get into biotech. I really like it here. Also, pharmaceuticals getting a little sell-off here. Both these down over 2% today, but they've been on just an absolute rip-roaring move higher. So those are all good. Home builders down because interest rates are creeping up, US dollars creeping up. There's some concerns on the inflation there. And then semiconductors, if we look at SMH, this is where the damage is coming. Memory, semiconductors down 4% today. Gold getting hit almost 3% on the session today. Silver down 3% on the session. Again, all of these are interest rate and US dollar fear driven items. And then take a look at where memory is today. So we saw the semis down pretty good on the session today, about 4%. But look where DRAM here is, which is memory stocks, down almost 10%, 9% on the day. These have such a great run. Now they're pulling back, totally fine. If you chased it, you're getting screwed. Okay, shame on you for chasing. Now we're in a bullish or bearish regime, 8 below the 21. Everything's bearish on memory. We just wait for the pullback. I'd love to see something in this golden range here. In an ideal world, I'd love to see these things pull back into the 50 to 618 fib levels. I think if we can get there, we'd be adding some DRAM as well. And then software hanging in there pretty well today. These things have had a good run, a nice pullback, and now just kind of, removing higher overall here. So good stuff overall. All right, there's a little bit of look at some sectors. Oil today moved higher, pretty good size move to the upside, and also in after hours we're up again some more on the futures here. We've got oil trades on. I added more oil 112 trades today. My opinion doesn't matter out there, but just see no end to this conflict. Just no end. Iran is not ever going to surrender. They are not going to give up. They're not going to stop being a pain in the butt to the United States. They know that the more they irritate Trump, the more he has to keep attacking, the more he prolongs this conflict, the more heat he's going to get at home. They know this. They understand this. There's no reason for them to give in on any demands here. Ceasefire just helps them reload, and then they'll just start attacking stuff again. Okay, and they'll sponsor more terrorism around the globe. They will never stop trying to be a pain in the side of the United States. That's their goal. They don't care about their people for the most part. They will all give it up just to be a pain in the neck to the United States. So that being said, I like oil. I think this was way overdone selling here. I think oil should still be in the 90s. It's not, but I think this is a good opportunity on oil. Even if there's another ceasefire, I wouldn't trust it. I don't believe it. It can meander sideways and down. I like it here. We'll keep trading it. All right, and we already talked about gold. Gold hitting some uh, breaking some support here a little bit. It depends on where you want to draw that line on support. It either has or hasn't in here, but this descending triangle, not a good look on gold. All right, and then bonds with yields rising. So here's the U.S. dollar. Let's take a quick look. U.S. dollar moving up towards new recent highs in here. So we're almost at the new recent highs in the U.S. dollar. And look at interest rates. There's the 10-year back up almost to where it was at its most recent highs here. And then the 30-year over 5% again here, not so great. So bonds doesn't love this move. Things are looking increasingly more like inflation's going to be heavier, and we're going to see some more selling in the markets, I think. Could we get a little bit of a rally in the next month or so? I think so. I think it'll be short-lived, and I think things will head a bit more south. All right. That being said, let's take a quick look at some of our dynamic poor man covered call trades that we've got going on. We've got one in IGV, which is software. Software, since we entered this, is down almost 8%. However, we're down just 2% on this thing, down a whole $1,300, not much at all. We've only been in this for 30 days. I don't really even look at anything for about 60 to 90 days because we're just going to let the extrinsic play out over time. So eventually it starts to overcome any of the gyrations in the stock moves, but I'm totally fine with where we are. Selling in the money calls on this thing has certainly, we're not seeing this 8% down like people who bought into software are. We're just down a little 2% overall on it, and 1360 in our portfolio is less than a 0.25% loss of the account. So it's totally fine. We entered a new trade on Now today. So this is brand new. So don't worry about the returns. But Now slipped about 1.4% on the session today. But we're up about 6%. But again, you can't really count this. This is only one day, so not worried about it. We've got $1,000 of extrinsic to burn off in the next couple days. On this, we've got about $840 of extrinsic to burn off on IGV by Friday. So there's almost $2,000 there alone. On our QQQ trades, we've got about $400 to burn off in the next 3 days on QQQ, since we did just roll that. This trade is now up in 120 days. We're up 14%, and you're thinking, oh, 14%. The market's up 19%. See, I told you this whole strategy was going to lose on things that move up. You're capping your upside by selling in the money calls. You are 1,000,000% correct. I am capping my upside. Okay, because on this particular type of trade, I don't care. Okay, I'm all good with just collecting my 1% or so a week. We've only been in this trade 120 days. 120 days is essentially 17 weeks. We're up 14%, so we're pretty much on target for our 1% a week of income that we're generating, and we're only 17 weeks in. Okay, we've got another 40 weeks to go on this thing, and we got plenty of time left. If we just keep averaging our nearly 1% a week return over the next 30 weeks or so, we should see this thing really start to pay off. And if the market starts to slide down, we've got built-in protection. We're going to keep generating income. I expect us to start seeing 30, 40% gains in the next couple months on this. And then SPY, same type of a thing. 115 days in on this trade. We've got just in 3 days left, we've got $287 worth of extrinsic to burn off. So we'll get some more extrinsic in this week. We're up 12.4% in 115 days. Again, 115 days is essentially 16 weeks. All right, so 16 weeks in, we're at 12%. Again, almost exactly, or at least almost 1% a week. We're actually outperforming the market itself. So if you were just bought SPY as a stock, we're right there, and we're not seeing the same up and down volatility that you have, and we will start to outperform this over the time. So pretty happy with those and exactly where those things are headed. I want to share with you some of the call cannon trades. The recent ones, a little spotty. And let's take a quick look at some of those trades and just give you a sense of how these are going. Right? And here's the last several trades that we've had, really just for June and a little bit into July. Here's our numbers. Our average hold days on these call cannon trades, which these are short-term poor man covered calls. We're only buying the longs uh, out about 45 days, maybe 60 days on some of these. So looking at the expirations, they're all expiring in the next couple weeks to a month or so out there. So our average hold on these trades is 8.5 days. So in 8.5 days, this is what we're generating every roughly 8 days. It's supposed to be a weekly trade, but some of these we do roll and go a little bit longer on. You can see some of these we've had 4 rolls. Our average number of rolls, though, okay, is 1.6. So we're averaging about 1 to maybe 2 rolls on the average. So not a lot of management going along with these trades. And then you can see here's our net P&L. We're up a little over $2,000 in about a month, in about 30 days. So we've generated about $2,300 in 30 days. Our one outlier here is our Oklo trade. I decided not to roll it. It's still a small loss, but relatively speaking to some of these small trades, it chewed up a good amount of it. So without that Oklo loss, we'd be up, we'd be almost double where we are. I let that trade go because I just wanted to get out of the trade. Still less than 0.5% of my net lick on the loss, but you can't win them all. In fact, when I'm looking at these things, our average ROI here about 1%, which is exactly what we would think is that we're going to get about 1% a week, and that's about what we're averaging here. If we take a look at some of the key stats here, we've had 15 total trades that have closed in the last 30 days. We've won 11 of those, 73%, against a swing trading type of a strategy. I did close some for losers as opposed to I had more time left to roll and generate more extrinsic. I could have done that on Oklo. I could have done that here on one of the Labu trades. I could have done that here on an IWM trade. I could have done that here on an ASTS trade. All of these losers, 2 rolls, 2 rolls, 1 roll, and then on this one, 4 rolls, and I almost scratched it here. So we could have rolled out those and stayed in the money, collected the extrinsic, and probably turned these into winners. I just thought it was more prudent to close some of these. Didn't like the charts, didn't like my setup still. Instead of trying to fix a broken trade, I'd rather take these small losses, 600, 600, $138. Again, this Oklo one's outsized. That'll be unusual for us, and we'll get out of that. And I'd rather put on some of these other trades where we're averaging somewhere around $613 a week, okay, for every 8 days. Okay. And we're using on average about $21,000, but some of these, you can see the cost basis here on a few of these. We're using synthetic long positions on some of these. Some of these we're just buying the leap. It's not really a leap. It's 45 to 60 day long call, deep in the money, 95-ish delta, 90, 95 delta long calls. So you can see we're spending on average about $21,000 when we do that. But some of these here, we've used the synthetic, which obviously can generate much higher return rates, 360%, 111%, 28%. So we can generate some pretty hefty return rates when we use the synthetic, much more economical type of a trade that we have running out there. Anyway, 73% winners. I'm okay with that on a swing trading strategy. This is not the same as, selling puts, naked puts or something like that. It's a little bit of a different strategy, a little bit more of a swing strategy here. 73%, I'll take it. Would I like more? Sure, but this is only a small sample size. Anyway, you can also see too that, again, we're holding about 8.5 days. And then the average winner, about $613 per trade on an average of about $21,000 invested. So 613 bucks is what? 613 divided by the 21,441. It's going to give you 2.9%. So our average return on this cost basis here with our average winner. So our average winner averages about 2.9% a month on these. All right, so that's where we are on the call cannon trades so far for the month. We're doing fine. It's a nice little spec trade. It's not my main trading strategy, but it's a nice little spec trade that does pay us off. I'll give you a sense of what we're in right now on some of these call cans. We do have an NVIDIA one. It's down slightly, a SpaceX one down slightly, and an XHB trade down slightly right now. So those are the three we're in. Those are down a bit. You can see we've had some rolls on these. So these are the ones we're in right now. Sharing my trades with you. We'll keep working on them. All of those trades, SpaceX down 15, almost 16%, but we're only down 5. All right. So if you take a look at these NVIDIA, XHB, which is home builders, and SpaceX, all down pretty good, and we're down maybe $1,700 or so on these trades. All right. There's a little bit of a idea of how we do it. I like this trade style. It works really well. This is just a spec trade strategy. It's not the main driving strategy, which is, again, the dynamic poor man covered call. All of those are up nicely, averaging, 1% a week on those trades longer term. And then we're in our 112 trades, which are paying off phenomenal. We are now on the 112 trades. We're up $42,000 this year in a half of a year. Our average win on these trades so far has been about $6,900. So we make about $6,900 a month using those 112 trades. What can you say? Works great. They've been great here with the market up, down, chopping sideways. So I want to just give you a little bit of a heads up of what we're doing, how we're managing these trades. Life is good. If you want to check out a little bit more, you can certainly come join us in the Discord. If not, have a great evening. If you like this video, click the like button down below. If not, we'll see you. Have a great rest of your day, folks. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.